Welcome, guys. This is the first episode of One on One with Xavier Delgado. I did an interview with an author. His name is Daryl Johnson. He's writing a series of books. The first book is called My Family, and then the second book is called My Family 2. So what I did was I interviewed him, and we're gonna see what he has to say about these two books. I know they have a lot to do with interracial, like bringing people of color and white people together. So I feel like right now is a perfect time, and we're gonna hear what he has to say.
Daryl!
What's up, Zay? What's up?
My name is Daryl Johnson. I'm a disabled American veteran, 58 years old. I was born and raised in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. T.I., Tamika and family, Scrappy, Mama D, Candy Barris, Todd, Riley, Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, and other Atlanta celebrities. Strap up your boots, tighten up your seatbelts, because you're about to go for the ride of your life. My Family by Daryl Johnson. This is the story of Darius Starr, a criminal defense attorney who had a lucrative practice in Brooklyn, New York, and at the age of 44 and 18 years of practice, decided to retire. Darius, like so many other criminal defense attorneys before him, lived the disillusioned belief that he was going to champion the cause of the downtrodden and do some good in his community. During his practice, Darius crossed paths with the most unlikely of sorts, a redneck hillbilly named Mark Dundee from Charleston, West Virginia. Mark, like many others before him, had got entangled in the Russian mail-order bride scheme, but in his case, his bride ended up with a .44 caliber bullet in her head on their wedding night. Mark, not having any disposable cash on hand, put up 100 acres of land and the deed that had been in his family for 183 years as collateral for services rendered by Darius to prove that he did not commit the murder. Everything seemed to be going good for Mark. Darius was able to prove that the murder was not committed by him, but instead a jealous Russian immigrant who had deep feelings for Mark's bride. He could not stand to see her marry another man. Unfortunately for Mark, on the day of his release from jail, he immediately got into a taxi cab being driven by the very same man who killed his wife. That was the last that anyone ever saw Mark alive.
We just got done doing the preview of the book My Family. We read the first page starring Darius, and I was wondering, I have a question. When and why did you start writing that book?
When was December 18th in the year 2018. There were two books, My Family and My Family 2. I finished writing the first book, My Family. It took me about a year. And the second book, I finished writing that, My Family 2, I finished writing that February of this year, 2020. The why is because I've always had thoughts of writing a book about a black attorney from Brooklyn, New York, who moved to the mountains of some redneck hillbilly state. So I chose Charleston, West Virginia, and he basically changed their lives and they changed his life.
Right.
So
how do you feel? You started writing the book about 2 years ago, right?
yes.
So how do you feel in the present moment, seeing the stuff that's going on right now and seeing how much it relates to the stuff we're dealing with today?
I used to always say to myself, it's taking too long to write this book, but for some reason, the timing is perfect. You know, with everything that's going on, you know, I use a city, Charleston, West Virginia, and I go to Atlanta, Georgia. I use redneck hillbillies who live on top of a mountain, and I go directly into the rap community environment in Atlanta, Georgia, with T.I., Scrappy, Mama D, his mother, Tamika, Messiah, Damani, King, all the Scrappy's, all of T.I.'s kids, and his whole family, even his mother's in the book, and Tyler Perry, Candy Barris, Young Jock, and other rap artists of notoriety. They're all in the book.
So, question. You wrote the book. You have 2 books. You have My Family and My Family 2. Would you ever see this book turning into a movie?
Well, everybody who I let preview, they all said the same thing. This is a movie. This is Netflix. This is Hulu. This is Showtime. They all said the same thing. Me, myself, I had no idea about making it into a movie or anything. I just was writing a book for entertainment. But everybody who's previewed it, they all said a movie.
Okay.
Because there are people of notoriety in the book, mainly T.I. and his entire family, all of his sons, even the 3 daughters by Tamika, and Tyler Perry and Candy Burris. I would like for them to be a part of the publication and the release. I can do it on my own. I can self-publish, or I could just turn it over to Netflix or somebody like that, and we'll just turn it over to a publisher, and I could let them do it. But because these people of notoriety are in the book, I want to give them the first bite of the apple. So, I don't want them to edit the book in any way, but I would like for them to see what I'm doing before I actually go into publication, because the book is going into publication. My birthday is September 8th. If anybody doesn't get in contact with me before September 8th, I'm giving myself that birthday present of publishing this book on my birthday. Mm-hmm. They can either wait and read it and say, oh man, I wish I would have been a part of it, or they could, take a bite out of the apple right now while I'm...
Take advantage of the situation that you're giving them.
Exactly.
Right. All right, Daryl, so you have a second book. What's the name of the second book?
My Family 2, okay. T-O-O.
And you also had a poem book or something like that?
Yes, that's the first book that I ever wrote. 101 Poems for God. Okay. The words 101, not the numbers. 101 Poems for God by Daryl Johnson.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about the second book.
The second book is an actual continuation of the first book. This is a series. I probably want to do 3 or 4 books, maybe even 6, you never know. There's a few more characters from Atlanta, but those characters are centered around the people from the first book. They're integrated with the hillbilly rednecks. You're gonna ask me how and why? Well, you have to read the book to see.
Right, you have to read the first book in order to really understand the second book.
Right. And how these people's lives cross paths.
Right. Okay, so tell me a little bit about Tyler Perry's part.
Tyler Perry's part, I still have him as the writer and TV producer and the person that he is, but I changed his form of writing into something that you would never attribute to Tyler Perry. I make him another kind of writer. In fact, what I did for Steve Harvey in the first book, I did for Tyler Perry. I made him bigger than what he already is. Messiah was driving his new Range Rover that Tip and Tamika had brought him for his 20th birthday on January 2nd. On their way down Auburn Street in the city of Atlanta, Messiah saw a sign that said, "I am God," on a church billboard, and a homeless man sitting under it holding a cup, obviously seeking money. He pulled over and exited the Range Rover and sat next to the man on the ground. A tourist noticed him and filmed what he was doing from a distance. Someone was even live streaming him on YouTube. His younger brother's Major was watching it at home and alerted Tamika, who rushed to the scene with clothes she had ripped out of Tip's closet and a pair of his new Jordan sneakers. What happened went viral, and a new internet challenge was started, Operation Dignity, where you find a homeless person and do a service for them. Buy them a meal, treat them to a haircut, or give them clothing from your closet or brought from a store. Messiah said in the post that the giving to someone who is less fortunate is a blessing from God. Every day alive is a chance to live in God's blessings. He brought with his saved money and donated money 3 buses, which were converted into portable showers that were equipped with hygiene supplies for the homeless, that traveled throughout Atlanta. His handlers from the ministry cautioned him about the dealing directly with the homeless people, but he wasn't interested in any of that and said, God's got his back. The mayor of Atlanta, Danny McBride, in a news conference was asked, Mayor McBride, There is talk of Messiah Your Majesty Harris possibly a candidate for mayor someday. And if he runs against you, would you welcome his challenge? Let's end right there. Okay, I've skipped ahead a few pages, and I'm going to continue where I was with the Messiah. Now remember, Messiah had taken with his money that he had saved and donated money, and he got 3 buses, which he converted into shower stations to where the homeless people could take showers and, have hygiene products available to them. There was a riot at one of the shower stations. People fighting to take a shower and receive haircuts, clean clothes, and toiletries. Messiah arrived immediately, and the crowd calmed. Someone shouted, "The Messiah is here!" He walked through the crowd of people. Some of them fell to the ground and touched him as he walked past, saying, "Messiah! Messiah!" The crowd begins to chant softly, then loudly, "Messiah! Messiah!" The local news covered the event on live television, and the national broadcast picked it up. There were at least 80 disheveled homeless people calling for Messiah to bless them. A partially blind man with ragged clothes was led to him, and he said, "I only want a shower." Messiah escorted him into the bus, and half an hour later he emerged a new man, clothed finely with a nice haircut. All the major churches and smaller ones gathered at various locations where the buses were to help the effort. What stunned everyone was when at one location, Atlanta's who's who of rap artists showed up to lend a hand. At one location, there was Andre 3000, along with Lethal Lopez and Big Boy and 2 Chainz, handing out towels and fitting people for clothes. At another location, Young Thug, Gucci Mane, Future, Jay-Z, and Little Scrappy were helping people pick out and try on new shoes, sneakers, and sandals. Candy Barris, along with Big Gip, Jermaine Dupri, and Goody Mob, set up a cleaning station to wash people's feet and provide them with new socks and shoes. What brought everyone to tears was Killer Mike and Young Jock brushing 2 old ladies' hairs. Both ladies had their eyes closed as they were sleeping peacefully. Messiah addressed the crowd of reporters. He said, "I am not the Messiah, but I am Messiah Your Majesty Harris. There is much that I want to do and that I can do, and all I can do with you and for you. Tomorrow I was going to announce my plan for the ministries to further help in our communities, but instead now I'm announcing that I'm no longer going to work in the name of the ministry, but instead, hopefully, as your next mayor." Everybody's familiar with the person Scrappy, the rap artist that lives in Atlanta. This is a scene that involves him. I'm going to give you the setup. There's an ice pick killer who's a serial killer in Atlanta, and Scrappy is dating a girl named Ruth that has a son named Nehemiah. Those are Bible names, and I give them those names for a particular reason, which we'll find out later on. But anyway, Esteban is lurking outside of Ruth's window. He's been stalking her. And remember, that's Scrappy's girlfriend. So here's the scene. Esteban clothed himself in a police uniform from one of his many disguises and headed to Ruth's home. Everything about him said that he was a cop, but the gun, it was a fake. Peering through her window, he saw her close Nehemiah's bedroom door and sit down to read a book. As he was leaving the bushes, Scrappy approached him and said, "Hey man, what you doing looking through my girl's window?" Scrappy immediately recognized Esteban and connected his face to the police sketch of the ice pick killer. Esteban said, "I was looking into a call of someone lurking in the area." Scrappy said, "Nah, man, you up to something." Esteban threw a blow, missing Scrappy, who ducked out of the way. They exchanged body blows, and he got the better of Scrappy just for a few seconds. When Scrappy saw him pull the ice pick, he went into beast mode, delivering a can of whip-ass to Esteban. He plummeted him so hard over and over, it sounded like a jackhammer. Scrappy delivered a series of blows, only stopping to scream, "Ah!" between the blows. When the police arrived, Scrappy was sitting on top of Esteban, panting like a lion after the slaughter of a wildebeest. When the police pulled him off, he kicked Esteban in the face saying, "That's for trying to fuck with my girl. I remember your punk ass, you motherfucker." Let's stop right there. My name is Daryl Johnson. You can contact me at johnsondarryl741@gmail. JOHNSONDARRYL741@gmail. Contact me. Let's make this happen. God bless you.